Oh no, I hit the button. I screwed it up. See, it's been a while. Kind of give me a little bit of a leeway on this, but hey there, everyone. Welcome to the show tonight. A little bit different. I did a live stream this morning. I was talking about this show, and then about an hour or so ago, Local Prepper hit me up and said, "Hey man, you want me to come on?" I was like, "Heck yeah, let's do that." It's much easier when I've got somebody else that can flap their gums than just me by myself. So I was like, "Heck yeah, we'll do that." Tonight we are going to be talking about wherever we go with this. I did want to talk a little bit about it being Preparedness Month, and as I said this morning, I want to say thank you to everyone. I've got a video that I want to play here that everybody or a lot of people put together it's been around 10 years since I've been doing Survivalist Prepper, whether it's the podcast or the YouTube channel, all that stuff. So it's kind of interesting because Brian Duff and a few members did some video clips and everything. And right before I saw this, I told Brian that I was going to have to put our Survival Prepper show on hiatus for a little bit. And then this comes out, and then I feel like a complete heel now. But I had to do it because I have to focus on Survivalist Prepper. So for everyone that listens to that show, it will be back in the future. Brian and I still might do some things here and there, but it's just not going to be the weekly thing. But today, before I get into a lot of that and before I play this video that some of the members did for me, what have you been up to, Local? And we talked a little bit before the show, and you've been up to about the same thing as me as far as YouTube goes. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. So a lot of people have been asking where I've been. Basically, for the last 30 to 40 days, I've been moving from one town to the next. So it's been basically me and my Explorer just shoving stuff in and driving it over there. And between that and trips to the dump, it's been a pretty amazing month.
Yeah. And I do want to talk about that a little bit later too, about the gas prices and all that. And I'm sure that you experienced that about basically how the frog in the boiling pot of water. Basically, we're used to this $4 out here anyway. It's creeping up around $4. I don't want to get into that too much right now because we'll get into that later. But yeah, all of those things. If you see any comments that I miss, LP, make sure and let me know. If I miss them. Hey, Matt, what's going on? Haven't talked to Matt in a while. White Rabbit, Exploring with Nomad, Robert Vin. A few of these are probably your peeps.
There's a handful of them in there.
Yeah. But I did want to play this video real quick. It was kind of cool because I don't get on Facebook anymore. And I had to have a member of my group, our group over at members.survivalistprepper.net. He basically told me, "Hey man, you need to log into Facebook and approve some of these people into your private group over there." And I watched the video and I was just blown away. It's sort of why it's why I started doing this stuff in the first place. When Lisa and I started about 10 years ago, I've been prepping for like a year or so. And I want to get into this with you after I do this too a little bit. I've basically been prepping for a year or so. So it was more of a journaling of the things I was going through and sort of sharing a journey with everybody that was listening to the show. And it's pretty cool that there are people that have been around since day one that are still doing it. So they've gone through that journey as well, and they've changed, and the things that they're doing have changed since then. There's a lot of people that have completely fallen off the radar. I think the majority of people probably get into it and fall off the radar. But it is pretty neat. The people you meet, the people, people like you, Vision Preparedness. Just a bunch of different preppers, a bunch of people in the preparedness community is pretty neat. And a few that I've met in person. And then there's some that you feel like Denise is in the chat right now. Never met Denise in person, but you feel like, if you sat down at the coffee table with them or something, it'd just be like talking to an old friend. So it's just really cool, man. And I want to say thank you to everybody that's listening and giving me the motivation to actually do this crap and keep doing it. It's just kind of cool when you see people like that. One thing I wanted to say to Kenzie was, Kenzie misunderstood. He thought they were talking about mine and Lisa's anniversary. So that's what he was talking about in there. And he made a correction clip, and I forgot to put it in here. So that's my fault. So regardless, still good advice. So It's just pretty cool. I mean, that's why I do this stuff. You know, the money is a means to an end, and it is important. But the real important stuff is the whole reason I started this, the whole reason you do what you do, and Vision does what he does, and all of that is to just kind of grow this community and get more people aware of these things and get good information out there rather than the BS, the fear mongering, and all that stuff. So. I'm sure that's why you got into it, starting to get online because, when I first started, it wasn't really that, but recently it's been that because it's like, okay, there's just a lot of BS out there, and there needs to be some rational thought out there. So, just very, very cool. What I wanted to do is talk about sort of how preparedness for me has changed, and everybody in the chat as well. You talk about regardless how long you've been doing it, and also want to get your thoughts on it too, because when I first started this, it was like I said, I'd been doing it for about a year or so. Lisa was into preparedness when I met her. I've been married to her a couple years before I actually got online, and she's the one that got me into it. And my thoughts in the beginning, a little bit intimidated, I suppose, because I didn't really know a lot about the preparedness community. I knew a lot about preparedness and things like that, but you have this idea that it's like this James Wesley Rawls type community, right? Where everybody's wearing flak jackets and all this just this crazy hardcore stuff. And here's me living in a rural area with not a whole lot, and I'm trying to get online and do this stuff, and I'm feeling like I'm going to be just like being chastised and being made a fool out of. And then you see like the community that you've put together, the community I've put together, the people that we interact with, completely different than my thoughts when I first started. What were your thoughts about this? And you've got a little bit of a different background as far as military and all of that stuff. But what were your thoughts when you first decided? Well, let me back up here. How long were you prepping before you decided to get online, and what were your thoughts about what you were doing and your reservations and all that stuff?
I started prepping in around like really prepping 2008.
Okay.
Just the standard, learning how to put things in buckets and Mylar, and doing Mylar with irons and clothes, or the hair straighteners, and just the very beginnings of it. And then I didn't start doing anything on YouTube until about 3 years ago. And the same boat. I started doing it about 3 years ago because honestly, it sounds weird, but so. I won't say his last name. His first name is Matt. He's a former special forces. You won't see any of those things those accolades that I use. Sometimes I'll throw a hint in one of my screens, but he was one of these guys that was just cashing in on it, and it really pissed me off that he brought this guy on. He was supposed to be super medic doc, and he was showing you this little kit, this little medical kit that was going to save your life. And I started looking at it, and it was just like, okay, wait a minute. So let's hit the old Google machine and Amazon and find out exactly how much it would take to make this kit. And the markup that they had on it was so outrageous. It just enraged me so much that people were like, "This is the greatest thing ever." And I'm like, take your head out of the bucket, man. You can buy all this stuff yourself,
Yeah.
And it just really, really bothered me. And then I found that there were a lot of people out there on YouTube that were doing the same exact thing over and over and over and over. And don't get me wrong, I've got a Patreon. I sell things on Amazon. I get sponsorships all the time. I'm making like $3 every time you spend $5 million on Amazon. I'm getting
Yeah.
so rich. But I started doing it, and I still do it because I just, I had some company send me, I'm not going to say their name because I've got to do a video. I promised I'd do a video. Somebody sent me a can of roast beef to like taste online on do a review on it, right? All right, good to go. It's $35 a can. It's this big.
$35.
$35 a can. There's nothing magical or special about it at all. And the company's out of Colorado too. So, so yeah, it's just stupid stuff like that. I mean, I ping the environment, say, what do you guys think? And it's like, well, that's stupid. Well, that's what we're going to roll with. That's stupid, because, and it's funny too, because all these videos out there about, doing a dollar 25 tree bug out bag. Yeah, it's very possible. Is it the greatest thing on the planet? No. Will it work? Yes, it will. So that's
possibly.
Well, you'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised. Some of that stuff is junk, and some of it not so much. But you can get away with a lot of stuff for a short period of time. And if you only got to go 72 hours, Dollar Tree might save your life.
Yeah. I mean, but there's still that. It's hard for me to go that route just because, yes, the odds, maybe there's a 70, 80% chance that stuff was going to work for you. It's not going to fail in a 3-day period, maybe even more than that.
Yeah.
But there's still that Murphy's Law thing that always seems to bite me in the ass, that if I'm going to use something, even if it's a Band-Aid or a roll of gauze, right, from the dollar store, the roll of gauze is about a quarter of the size of a real roll. Yeah. And you're going to run out, or the Band-Aid's not going to stick, or, it's just those things that kind of, but I agree with you. Yeah.
There are definitely certain things you don't want to get all what are the pinch pennies on.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to buy a $175 knife because some guy said it worked great in the field.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Unfortunately, a lot of that stuff, it works. These channels are huge. And I forgot to mention too, Morgan, she's doing this is Preparedness Month, and she's doing a 30 days to preparedness. And she's got a lot of, let me see if I can pull up this list that she's got. But these are the type of people that actually do add to the community, sort of what we're talking about here. These types of people, she's got a list right here. She's got hers. I did one, me and Brian did one. Prepper Potpourri, she's awesome. Irradium 242s is awesome. The preparedness guy, prepping with Sarge is great. All of these, Vision Preparedness, Roaming Prepper, who's in the chat, all of these people that are doing this stuff to actually add to the community, not take from it. And you had mentioned, there's the Patreon stuff, the Amazon stuff. There's got to be a little bit of that because we have to be able to continue to do it. But at the same time, it's for us, and maybe I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm pretty sure you feel this way. For us, that's not the main reason. That's like I said in the beginning, that's a means to an end. But for some people, that is the absolute goal. I remember when I first got into this, Survival Life was the website. That is, it's corporate prepping is what it is.
Exactly.
They offer you a little trinket and you get on their list, and then they sell your list to whoever. And that is, that is just not the way I like to go about this stuff. So it's just, when I first started, that's the reason I did the bug out location the way I've done it too, is to teach people the actual practical part of preparedness, the things that really matter in preparedness. And that's how I've just gone about this whole thing. That's how Lisa and I live. We change things, we do things, we don't go super overboard. I build things to my strengths, or build on my strengths, and work on my weaknesses and all that, and just do what we can do. I'm not a super prepper by any means, and you're never going to hear me say that I am on YouTube or anything else. So
super prepper.
Yeah. Kanzi is up there. Oh, I did want to say something about Kanzi too. Kanzi, even though it is up in Canada, speaking of speaking of those people, the people that are just in it for the money, you know who I'm talking about. Brian mentioned him in the beginning of that video.